Welcome to this edition of the Awakening Women podcast. Today is going to be a quickie, but it's something that I just sent an email out about, and I thought I would go a little bit deeper and add some different points to it here on the podcast. And this is 3 signs that you're probably ready to make a change. And this is really common with women in these relationships, is that one of the biggest questions is, how am I going to know when I'm ready? Like, is there going to be some lightning bolt moment or a big awakening? And sometimes yes, but in other times it's more of a process. And so this requires movement. Now, have women left relationships without mentorship and all that? Yes, I'm sure that happens all of the time. However, what can happen is that they leave and then end up jumping back into another unhealthy situation, which I am here to do everything I can to make sure that women avoid, through what I'm sharing here, through what I'm sharing on the Other Side podcast, where I will be talking more about dating, relationships. How do you do this on the other side? If you want to consider having another person in your life, how do you do that while protecting yourself? This isn't about going celibate for the rest of your life and swearing off men. Some women might do that, but in my opinion, while it's great to have alone time and have a period where you're living alone or living without a man after divorce, I think that's very important. And there's lots of side notes to that I really feel strongly about. Most women, I think deep down, they do want that. And so I'm talking more about that over there on the new show. So here we're going to be doing a mix of replays of episodes I've created since 2019. I'll be bringing back some of the most popular, highest download episodes. So you will see them being played here over the coming months as well. So in this one, let's talk about the three signs, not the three signs that you might be ready to move forward. And this could mean just taking a step. So the first big one is that when women end up coming into ETC, they're utterly exhausted, burned out emotionally, mentally, and physically. And then they get to a place where they know that deep down, it's not going to change. So that's the first sign. You're at that place where you feel like you have nothing left to give to the relationship. There's no more desire to fight. There's no more desire to argue. You don't want to talk about anything. You know that nothing is going to change the situation. You've kind of shut down. You have given up on using your voice, and your body might be screaming at you. You might have a lot of physical health issues going on, some scary ones even. And mentally, you might be very foggy in the brain and unable to focus at work, and your work performance or your business starts to struggle and suffer. And so if that's where you're at, I can tell you that that's a pretty big indication, because it's showing you that things are just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So the decades of the love bombing, the gaslighting, the empty apologies that mean nothing, it's a pattern that you've seen all too many times. And now those good moments don't erase the bad ones anymore. So the flowers, the gifts, the sudden changes in behavior, they used to work, but they're not working anymore because you can see right through it. And as I've said many times, you can't unsee what you now see. And your level of exhaustion is impacting many areas of your life. You're not showing up as the mom that you know you want to be for your kids, and you feel guilty and bad about that. Maybe you are exhausted at the end of the day and you're not maybe making meals that you think you should be making for them, or they're spending too much time in their electronics and you're not there to connect with them, or you're snapping at them because it's just one more thing you have to deal with. So you're easily triggered. You're kind of at that saturation point with things. You don't have much in the tank, so you're kind of on edge. So these are all big signs that you need to do something. You need to take a step. Number 2 is you have been daydreaming about your life without him. It's come in moments, or it's becoming a daily thing where you can start to see what that would be like being without all of the anxiety. So imagine waking up without feeling that dread or that pit in your stomach of anxiety. You have peace in your home and in your body, and you actually feel safe in your own space, and you sleep peacefully at night. It's not a coincidence that your mind is drifting to that. That's something on a deeper level. There's a reason why our minds drift to these other areas. Now, does that mean that if you're in a relationship and you're dreaming about going away or maybe living on your own somewhere on a beautiful secluded island by the ocean, that means that you need to leave your relationship? No, probably not, if it's not a bad relationship, but maybe it is true. Maybe there is something to that. But when you are in these cycles, you are now, because you're feeling what we just talked about, that exhaustion, you're starting to let your mind drift to, I can actually see that now. And it feels exciting. It's scary, but it feels exciting. It feels like I'm craving that. And one of my past clients, one of her things that she said very early on is she's like, I just want to hang wallpaper in my apartment. And once she got out and kind of stabilized herself, she sent me a photo of this beautifully wallpapered wall that she finally did when the dust kind of settled, and it looked absolutely lovely. And I just love that these symbolic things that women do to signify that kind of crossover of like, this is my life now. I get to choose what I want to do now. So what are those things that you are daydreaming about being able to do when you're not in these patterns any longer? And maybe you're daydreaming about what it is that you want to do, but you feel held back by this relationship. Number 3, you have been in my community for a while and you've been listening to this podcast on repeat. You know who you are. This means that yes, you're seeking answers. Yes, you're questioning things. You know there's something wrong. You know probably pretty clearly that you're experiencing narcissistic abuse if you've been here a while. If you're brand new here and this is a new concept to you, then yeah, maybe you're not ready to make those decisions. So you need to get clarity, and this podcast is definitely the place to be. You can also grab my audio, 10 definitive signs that you're definitely experiencing narcissistic abuse and the patterns within it. I'll put the link in the show notes. You can grab that audio for free. And there's also tons here on the podcast if you're new. But if you are not new to this and you've been here a while in my community, you're on my email list, you're on this podcast, you're on my Instagram of whatever it is, 67,000 women following, and you're just consuming content, but you're not actually doing anything about it, this is probably a sign that you're ready to do something. There's a next step, because you can only do all of that for so long. You obviously know that there's something wrong and that you need to do something if you're here. So this is your inner guidance, or the universe really, that pointed you here. I really believe in that. I believe that our teachers come into our lives when we're most ready for them, and that your inner guidance is pointing you to where you need to go next. But it's totally up to you if you're going to listen or not, or if you're going to take those next steps. You see, we can have things put in our path, but we always have the power of choice. We always have the power of making the steps or not making the steps. So the thing can be in front of you and you get to choose. Am I going to grab onto that and go? Or am I going to choose to see it and do nothing about it? And everything is choice. Everything. So when you look at everything in your life as choice, this changes the lens through which you can see solutions. Because the truth is, you are choosing to stay stuck in the cycle. It's a choice. And you might not see it that way. And that's often when we're stuck in that victim is, I don't have a choice. There's these 101 things that I have to figure out. And sometimes we make it more complicated because there's fear, right? And that's all normal. But the thing is you have to be ready. You have to be ready to take those next steps and do the inner work to get to that place of clarity. This relationship came into your life to awaken you. And if you choose to see it that way, you will absolutely grow and you will absolutely flourish on the other side if you choose to embark on this as a your journey of awakening. Before I go, a couple of things. Number one is if you could please leave a rating and review on this podcast, either on Spotify or iTunes, and share a little bit about how this show has most helped you. And then the second, I wanted to let you know for the month of April, those who join the End the Cycle program, you're going to get 90 days of access to the program plus your first 30 days inside of the ETC Telegram group, where you can ask me any questions inside the group as you go through the program. This is something that's only offered to my one-on-one clients or those that are in my higher level programs. And so I'm adding this in just for the month of April because May 1st is my birthday. I love this time of year. I'm offering this extra feature to the program because right now I'm not running it live. I'm not running it as a group program. I don't have any plans to ever do that again. So it's only available as a self-study and you wouldn't have access to me otherwise. So this is an extra bonus of $1,000 value. Plus you're going to get my Empowered Exit Planning course as part of your investment to start looking at what are some of the steps that I could be taking now, even if you're not ready to fully decide and leave. There's a lot of things you can be doing in the background, which you should be doing in the background, that you need to be aware of and be thinking about and planning for now before you get to that decision. And so working through that course is going to help you immensely. And oftentimes it's what gives women the clarity that they can do this, that they need to do this. And then they have the plan that gives them the confidence to keep forging forward. So get yourself inside. If you have been here a while and you know that this is what's going on for you and you know that you're ready for a solution, you're ready for a change, you're ready to start your journey of awakening and transformation, then get yourself inside of End the Cycle. All right, bye for now.